Coming up on Newswatch 16, arrests were made in Cortland during Saturday celebrations. Ithaca gamers turn their violent video games into art, and a local car dealership raises money for charity. All that and more tonight on Newswatch 16.
Covering Ithaca and all of Tompkins County. Live on ICTV, Newswatch 16 starts right now.
Disorder broke out in Cortland after the 55th annual Cortica Jug Game. Good evening, I'm Nick Rojas.
And I'm Janelle Fort. That story is first on 16. Chaos erupted in the streets of Cortland after the biggest little game in the nation, the Cortica Jug. Cortica is the annual rivalry football game between Ithaca College and SUNY Cortland. Yesterday, Cortland defeated Ithaca College, leading to thousands of people celebrating in the streets of Cortland. The Cortland crowd consisted of almost 5,000 people, forcing the county police to call in assistance from other counties and New York State Police. Around 30 arrests were made during the police raid, and officers said several people sustained minor injuries.
Senior Deputy Chief of Ithaca Police Department Pete Tyler is expressing concerns about the Common Council's recent decision to shut down a proposal that would add 2 police officers to the City of Ithaca police force. Tyler says police officers may face additional pressures due to the current staffing levels of the department. IPD has recently been forced to cut specialized units and assignments. These cuts come in the wake of increasing crime rates. City officials claim that the 2014 budget allocates the largest amount of money IPD has ever received.
The Tompkins County's Industrial Development Agency held a public hearing to approve the cost of expanding the Holiday Inn in downtown Ithaca. The hotel's expansion would include a new conference center as well as additional rooms. The hotel developer applied for a tax break earlier this year, but withdrew the application after learning the cost would be more than they anticipated. Residents and employees suggested the tax break be used for other purposes. Local residents say the money should be kept in the community, whereas employees believe the hotel should offer better salaries and benefits.
Local residents gathered at the Ithaca Southside Community Center on Friday to make artwork out of donated violent video games. Here's Joe Bion with more.
This past Friday, Ithaca residents gathered at the Southside Community Center to battle against violent video games. Game Changers is a project put on by Dream Catalyst that receives donations of violent video games and turns it into a piece of art.
Our video games, when they simulate death and murder and other indescribable things that I just don't even want to think about my kids learning, that's got to stop.
Eric Lehman is a founder of Dream Catalyst, a local organization that helps children facing homelessness. Lehman himself was homeless when he was just 17.
My mom experiences bipolar disorder, and she had a manic episode that resulted in her actually calling the police and having me removed from the house.
Eric believes that the less children play these violent video games, the better it will be for them. And supporting him, an internationally renowned artist, Lily Ye, who travels all around the world, turning abandoned places into works of art.
He has collected a lot of the violent video, and then he's asking people to break them, literally, and then use them as a mosaic and create hopeful images rather than destruction and violence and killing.
Later that night, dozens of video games broken and turned into a message of peace.
Something really interesting going on behind me here right now. A mural of a heart is being made up of broken pieces of violent video games. And it's because the people here believe that the less time children spend playing these violent games, the better people they'll grow up to be. Reporting from Ithaca, Joe Bion, Newswatch 16.
Murals were stolen from the west exterior wall of Tompkins County Public Library last week. The murals were a part of the Art in the Heart of the City exhibit. Mary Beth Inkin painted the installations, which depicted farm animals. Inkin says the murals were worth anywhere from $500 to $1,200. Inkin is known throughout Ithaca for outdoor artwork. She has murals displayed in and around the Commons. Anyone with information about the theft can contact the Downtown Ithaca Alliance at 607-277-8679 or visit downtownithaca.com.
The property of a former gun factory off West Campus has entered the public comment phase of a government-run environmental cleanup program. The site is part of the Brownfield Cleanup Program, which aims to clean up environmental contaminants and promote commercial development. The draft for cleanup of the former Ithaca gun factory is now complete. The site was likely contaminated by spray painting, forging, and metal plating. Officials say the street site is contaminated by lead, and those who enter could be affected by the contaminants if they disturb the soil in any way.
A local car dealership is giving back to the community. Newswatch 16's Alexandra Leslie has that story.
If you've seen the signs on Elmira Road, signs offering a $10 oil change, you may be thinking it's too good to be true. McGuire dealerships in Ithaca are offering community oil changes for just $10, but the real deal is for charities and organizations. The local car dealership has been offering community oil changes since April, but if you're just driving by, you may not know what they're all about.
We invite the public in for an oil change, filter, and car wash, and we'll go ahead and honor that on any vehicle that you bought from us or any make that we sell that maybe you bought elsewhere. And we'll donate that entire $10 to a local charity, one that's been pre-selected by us, per month, and 100% of the proceeds go right to that charity. So we can make a pretty big impact with some select charities in our own backyard.
An oil change typically costs between $30 and $40, but can range anywhere from $20 to $90, depending on the type of car you drive.
We do between 1,500 and 2,000 oil changes per month, and we do this in all 6 of our locations. So it could add up to be quite a substantial amount of money to a very needy charity.
It does add up. Last month, McGuire raised more than $20,000 for United Way. They've raised money for other local charities, including the Cayuga Medical Center, Hospicare, and the Cancer Resource Center. This month, all proceeds are going to the Ithaca Science Center.
The community came together and really donated this money, and we just kind of helped facilitate that. So it's been outstanding for everybody involved, and again, we're very proud to be a part of it.
In Ithaca, Alexandra Leslie, Newswatch 16.
Ithaca firefighters are contributing to the recovery effort in the Philippines in the wake of a Typhoon Haiyan. Ithaca firefighter James Wheel and former Ithaca firefighter Jeff Goldberg are taking part on a Delta Spirit team mission to and in search and rescue and long-term planning efforts. Wheel and Goldberg will spend a night in Manila, then board a military C-130 jet bound for a relief zone. They will carry food, water, tents, and medical supplies. The mission will also set up an operations center and a field medical center to help with search and rescue efforts.
Coming up on Newswatch 16, charges have been filed in the McBride murder case, plus President Obama makes an announcement on family members of U.S. military who are illegal aliens.
But now, a first look at weather with Evan Pioch.
Hey, thank you guys. Today we saw a high of 55 degrees and a low of 48, a bit warmer than usual, about 8 degrees. There were also some huge storms in the Midwest. I've got the details coming up in weather.
Welcome back. In national news, federal agents say a missing New Jersey woman may be one of the 11 victims believed to be murdered by serial killer Israel Keys. Investigators believe the disappearance of Deborah Feldman in April 2009 fits a description of abduction Keys admitted to, saying he killed the victim and buried her in upstate New York. Investigators describe Keys as a kind of a murder addict who hunted victims in remote locations such as parks, campgrounds, or hiking trails. Keys committed suicide last December in his Alaska jail cell.
A Detroit area man who claimed he accidentally shot and killed a 19-year-old woman was charged Friday with second-degree murder. Theodore Paul Wafer, the shooter, was also charged with manslaughter and possession of a firearm in the commission of a felony in the shooting of Renisha McBride November 2nd. Authorities say McBride was intoxicated and possibly disoriented following a car crash before Wafer shot her in his Dearborn Heights porch. Authorities say Wafer shot McBride from behind a closed, locked screen door and cannot lawfully claim she was an imminent threat.
The Obama administration will allow family members of U.S. service members illegally living in the country to stay in the U.S. The memorandum is the latest immigrant policy change made by the president since he took office. Officials have the power to let the parents and children of U.S. service members, reservists, and veterans immigrants apply to live legally in the United States. Obama has instructed the government to focus on the deportation of only the most serious criminals. An Alaskan-based immigrant attorney states these changes will ease the strain of so many families and military families.
A malfunction aerial target drone struck a guided missile crusader during training on Saturday. The drone struck the USS Chancellorville off of Southern California while testing the ship's radar off of Point Mugu. The drone left a 2 to 3 foot hole in the side of the ship, and 2 sailors are being treated for minor burns. Lieutenant Lanaya Rotklein of the U.S. 3rd Fleet said the ship is now heading back to the naval base in San Diego so officials can assess the damage. The Navy is investigating the cause of the drone malfunction. Officials say an event like this is very rare.
A South Texas school district changed its course on Friday, saying it will allow a photo of a transgender student to appear in the young man's high school yearbook. Jaden Laredo grew up female but now identifies as a male and wanted to wear a tux in his yearbook photo. Jaden and his mother had said the school district was not allowing the photograph because it violated community standards. But after a meeting Friday afternoon, the school district agreed to let the photo be used. Jaden said his friends and classmates were very supportive, and he hopes his experience will educate other school districts.
Princeton University's Board of Trustees met Saturday to decide whether to offer students shots of the vaccine against Group B meningitis. The meeting comes after 7 cases of the potentially fatal disease were reported on campus. The only meningitis vaccine that targets meningitis group B has not been approved in the United States. The makers of the vaccine, Bacero, have been coordinating with Princeton officials, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and the State Department of Public Health. Group B meningitis is a strain of the bacteria form of the disease and is uncommon in the U.S.
Coming up on Newswatch 16, weather with Evan Pioch.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. We are now joined at the desk by weatherman Evan Pioch. Evan, really nice weather yesterday for Cortica. Not so good today. What should we be expecting for this week?
Well, as you said, wonderful, wonderful weather for Cortica. We were hitting about 50 degrees in the afternoon, much, much warmer than is typical for this time of the year. This week, though, not going to be so great, guys. Let's take a look here at the weather. You can see right now it is 56 degrees outside and cloudy. We have very strong winds coming from the southeast, as we saw all day. As I said in the top of the show, though, the big story of weather right now is the tornadoes going on in the Midwest. We're going to start by taking a look at the map here, and as you can see, there's this huge storm system right here reaching all the way from northern Michigan all the way down to Tennessee, Kentucky area. And we're going to take a look at some video from that storm. And today, as of 5:55 p.m., there were 76 reports of tornadoes, 229 reports of damaging winds, and 40 reports of large hail, some of which was up to 2 inches in diameter. And back more on those winds, we saw consistently 70 miles an hour in the Cincinnati metro area, with a gust of 86 recorded in Oak Lawn, Illinois. The severe weather is threatening 26 states and more than 100 million people, and us here at Newswatch just wish everybody affected by the weather the best of luck and stay safe. And now we're going to jump back here to national weather, taking a look at national temps. You can see up here in upstate New York in the northeast, we are hitting the mid-50s, mid to upper 50s in some parts of the area. Over in the southwest, we are mid to upper 60s. Up here in Montana and North Dakota, still sub-freezing. And now we're going to take a closer look at us here in upstate New York. 58 in Syracuse, 54 in Albany, 54 in Boston over by the coast. And over in Buffalo, you see 63, 57 in Toronto. Warmer than usual for this part of the year. And now taking a look at the national systems here, you can see we have this high pressure system, the blue line right here, moving eastward towards the coast, colliding with the low pressure system, dropping down from Canada up here, and this is what is really causing this big storm system in the Midwest. We're going to take a closer look in at that. Here you see this low pressure system moving towards the northwest, really colliding right here, right at the center of where that all those tornadoes have been going on today. And 48-hour precipitation, there is going to be some precipitation here in New York. We see some in Syracuse, some in Buffalo, might even see a little snow later on in the week. We'll take a look at that in the 6th day. Tomorrow we're going to see a low of 48 degrees, 90% chance of rain, and even stronger winds tonight, gusting up to 27 miles an hour coming from the south. Tomorrow morning, much better though, clear skies, 47 degrees. Sunrise is at 7:01 a.m., but we will still have the strong winds all the way down to 26 degrees, not as bad as tonight. Tomorrow we'll see a high of 57, partly cloudy, winds picking up again back up to 25 miles an hour. Now we're going to take a look at the 16th 6th day. As I said on Monday, very nice day. Tuesday, though, a little bit different. High of 41, but low of 26 with precipitation. If we are below freezing, that precipitation will come in the form of snow. Second time this year we'll see some snow, not much accumulation, because on Wednesday and Thursday we'll see some warming up. reaching a high of 47 degrees on Thursday, low of 30 on Wednesday night. That snow is not going to stick around because it will warm up. Friday, high of 41, low of 33. Saturday, high of 33 and a low of 23. Cool day here for a playoff football game here, Bombers versus Farmingham. So, a little bit different than Cortica next weekend, guys.
Just a little bit.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks, Evan. Coming up, we have an exclusive interview and a look on child obesity and a look at international news.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back. In the wake of a recent study showing an increase in child obesity, members of the Newfield School District have begun to implement healthy living programs. Newswatch 16's Dylan Lyons sat down with Newfield mother Michelle Mentor, who is spearheading many of these efforts.
So let's just start with how this all got started. What made you choose to combat obesity and unhealthy living?
Okay, when I got started, I definitely didn't see myself as tackling something really large. It was actually just that I always pack my daughter's lunch, and she got picked on and totally embarrassed for eating a sweet pepper at school, and I didn't think that that was right, so I spoke to the principal about it, and then she recommended that I join the Healthy Living Committee. Getting involved in the committee really gave me a sort of forum for speaking up.
What exactly is the Healthy Living Committee?
So it's a small group of passionate, interested administrators, faculty, and parents all working to promote health and wellness for Newfield School.
What kind of goals does the committee set?
Broadly speaking, they're just hoping to, or we're working to promote a culture of health and wellness at Newfield. And recently, statistics were released by New York State that showed that almost half of Newfield school kids are either overweight or obese. The exact statistic is 46.6%, and out of more than 700 schools in New York State, Newfield ranks 24th for highest incidence of obesity and overweight kids. So it really lent an urgency to the work that we're up to.
Can you talk a little bit about some of the types of programs either you or the Healthy Living Committee are implementing?
So the committee itself has been in existence for a couple of years, and I'm really the newest member of it. I can speak just a little bit to one of the really great initiatives that is going on within the committee, and then I can talk more about the things that I've actually been hands-on. There's this class, the Family and Consumer Science class has this food explorations program that's directly influencing what the cafeteria is offering. The food explorations class is testing out stuff on the middle and high school kids, things that are similar to what the cafeteria offers, but are like there's less sodium, less fat, more vegetables. And then specifically, I've been originally working to try to influence the way that kids experience snack time, celebrations, and rewards, because those are some of the sneaky ways that sugar and fat are reaching school kids. So we've been speaking with faculty, and we're working with creating a dialogue with parents about making those occasions more healthy. The big thing that I'm working on is actually this 2-year pilot project to offer food literacy education in the elementary school. The way that this would be played out, it's based on the curriculum offered by the Food Studies Institute, which is in Trumansburg, but actually offers this curriculum throughout the world. This curriculum has proven itself to be successful at helping kids get exposed to healthy foods. So it's a non-threatening, non-biased, fun, sensorial way for kids to experience stuff that they maybe have never tried or heard about or experienced before, like broccoli or corn, like simple things. But the curriculum ties in history and culture, math, science.
I find this all very fascinating because it's kind of an innovative and creative way to get students to eat healthier, and it's not just like replacing the vending machines with healthier foods. It's like more ingrained ways of getting them to think differently. So can you just talk a little bit more about how important the creativity of these programs are?
Yeah, thanks. I think that it's because they're getting to have those whole body experiences with food, that they associate really positive feelings with a vegetable. You know, it's not just like blackboard learning and now try this thing, you know. They had a hand in growing it perhaps. They chopped it. They learned that like someone's mom or grandma in the class actually had this sort of history or like experience with it, or it's related to their culture in this particular way. So it ends up being really meaningful and more than just a fact.
Now, where does the funding come from for these projects?
Well, so we're all volunteers on the committee, and there's some things that we've done that were completely no cost. Like there's healthy announcements, like a little message goes out every single morning to all of the students. So like at the elementary level, it might say something like, sweet peppers are an excellent source of vitamin C and they're delicious. So we're doing little things. But the pilot program actually will take 25 grand to operate. It'll reach 50 children in the first year and 150 children in the second year. And I don't have a doubt that the local foundations will recognize the need. And then the superintendent at Newfield has actually committed, if we're able to provide documented results, she'll advocate for this program's full-time inclusion in the Newfield Schools annual budget.
Is there anything else you wanted to mention?
I guess I might just add that I am really excited to be able to be a part of this sort of thing. I mean, I'm like every other administrator or parent or faculty member at Newfield. I care so deeply about the kids of Newfield and being able to watch their health either stay really great or improve. And I'm excited to be a part of a group that feels the same way and that is empowered to act.
If you have comments or suggestions, you can contact the committee by sending an email to healthyliving@newfieldschools.org.
Turning to stories from around the globe, breaking news out of Russia today, a Russian passenger airplane crashed while landing in the city of Kazan. All of the 44 passengers on board are believed to be dead. Some reports say 6 crew members were also killed, bringing the death toll to 50. The Boeing 737 belonging to Tatarstan Airlines went down at 7:20 p.m. local time. The plane was traveling from a Moscow airport to Kazan, which is about 450 miles away from Moscow. There aren't yet any direct indications of what may have caused the crash.
The devastation of Typhoon Haiyan is making it difficult for doctors and hospitals in the city of Tacloban to treat the sick and wounded. The typhoon battered the Filipino region a week ago on November 8th, causing severe shortages of water, electricity, and medical supplies. A lack of drug and blood supplies has prevented doctors from performing most operations. Incoming medical supplies are trapped in the local airport due to blocked traffic in the region. The super typhoon has so far killed at least 4,460 people, according to authorities.
The drug cartel has once again brought torture and death to Mexico, this time among law enforcers. Investigators have dug up 19 bodies in western Mexico after questioning nearly 24 corrupt police officers. The officers confessed to working with a drug cartel and led agents to a series of mass graves. Officials said more bodies may be found as they continue excavating the 8 mass graves. Some of the bodies were gagged and show signs of torture. The identities of the victims nor the motive for the killings have been released.
If you've ever dreamed of sleeping like a little mermaid under the sea, your dreams may become a reality.
Next month, the Manta Resort off the coast of Tanzania will open an underwater hotel room.
Designed by a Swedish company, the room is a floating 3-story private island, fully equipped with a rooftop deck, bathroom, and a lounge area at sea level. And the bedroom, is completely underwater.
The room doesn't run cheap. It'll cost you $1,500 a night for a 2-person stay and $900 for singles.
One day I hope to get enough money for that. That sounds fantastic.
Amazing. Well, that's our broadcast for tonight. Be sure to tune into Newswatch 16 on Tuesday night at 7 with anchors Alexandra Leslie and John Bogan.
Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your night.